Oh my god! Oh my gosh, guys! OMG, guys! Hilda Baci has made history to become an individual with the longest cooking time, 100 hours. It's not easy, yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. The current record stands at 87 hours and 45 minutes, and Linda broke that, like she shattered the record. It's not easy. Standing for 4 days straight. Even how many hours will person go standing? Go just a shaking, I can't think. But then again, while I'm celebrating Hilda, I'm also celebrating myself. This is my 100th episode. Yeah, I'm super, super, super stoked. But this episode is actually dedicated to Hilda. So when I saw the post, initially when I saw the how she was progressing, and I think I was lying down on my bed and working on another content, and I was like, I write about this, So yeah, before we delve into that conversation, welcome to IP series with Rita. My name is Rita Amarichinda, and I am an intellectual property lawyer based in Rivers State, Nigeria. Hilda and a South babe, so you see, South babe, they carry last. But I welcome my new IP friends. If you're just listening to me for the first time, you're welcome, guys. Thank you to my long-time listeners, to everyone who has listened to my episodes from when I started on the 18th. In 2 days, I'll be clocking 3 years. It's not easy, but I talk about everything intellectual property. It's an educative podcast, basically. So you want to learn anything about intellectual property and how it affects your industry, you are in the right space. And today's episode, like I stated initially, is focusing on the food industry. If you're a chef, or a chef, not the ones that say, I don't know, man, but if you know say they cook to make money, turn up. You guys turn up for this party. Turn up for this party. Come through for your girl. I'm not trying to break another record, but yeah, come through for me, guys. And let's get into our story for today. So when I first came across this Hilda's post, I was like, this is interesting. But then again, you know how I always say intellectual property has its tentacles in every industry. I just took a step back and I was like, okay, so how can I, educate people about what Hilda is doing that would really resonate with people when they hear it? So just started thinking, do I just do like an advice or push yourself? No one is your competition, and it just kind of felt like it was too plain for me. It felt like it was all this aspire to perspire. I think that's how you both say it. But then I put that down first, like what chefs can learn from Hilda Baci. Define your goals, be strategic about them. It's in the news, it's been said Hilda has been planning this for 5 years. So this is a 5 years plan that has manifested into 4 days, a total of 100 hours. And I was like, anyways, what else can I tell chefs? What else can I say to them that, will make sense? And I just decided to do like a Google search on intellectual property rights in the food industry, because when I used to work at one of the first federal law firm called Infusion Lawyers, one of the first article I worked on with my boss then, Senator Henen, was IP protection in the food and spice industry. So it just got me thinking, I think I can toe that line. And I think I wrote IP rights for chefs, how else can chef monetize, tips for chefs regarding IP, then I just did a Google search. And the beauty about a creative is you can build on something. I think that's how I come up with my articles, my write-ups, my podcast. I always build on something. So it just started small. It was supposed to be like I think 3-page something, but then it ended up being 16 pages. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, you can check out the carousels that I created and posted on, that was yesterday. And I am blown away by the algorithms, the views I'm actually getting from there. So I thought to myself, because one had reached out to me in the DM, I was like, oh, I would really love to know more. And you guys already know that I like to do so for every content, or not even say every content, but for almost all the contents that I create, I have tried my best in the last 3 years. So we're counting down to 3 years, which is on Thursday, and my birthday is on Wednesday. So I'm a year older on Wednesday. And I was like, okay, what else can I do? And it just got me thinking, how much intellectual property is there in food? So I was like, got it. And 1, 2, 3, blah blah blah, and it came up. So here is my gift to chefs. My sister cooks. She bakes. She cooks. She owns a business called Jay's Bakehouse, which and interestingly, she says Hilda is her mentor. And I was like, I mean, you know, we're here to make money and all that. So an IP is supposed to be like a long-term goal for chefs in the industry. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do a more in-depth conversation for my IP friends, chefs who will be opportune to listen to me. I hope you guys listen to me and send me a review. It will mean a lot to me. But yeah, let's delve into the whole conversation on how much IP is there in food, how can chefs make money from monetizing the intellectual property, what are the prospects there, and then my recommendation. I hope this episode will not be long, because should I have done, I don't know, I won't do 100 hours with you guys now. I won't even do 100 minutes. Any minutes you see here today, just listen and be blessed. Thanks, and God bless you, boy. Yeah, I think I should start the conversation. I'm talking too much. Uh-huh. Don't you guys think so? I think so. I'm talking. Okay, let me shut up and focus. Yeah. So, in the course of preparing for the podcast, I was doing some reading and I came across an article. So the first paragraph caught my attention. I was like, yes, this is what the whole conversation is about. So I'm just gonna read it for you guys, just to see how you accept this as well, and if you also agree with me. But so it says the way of looking at food has undergone an impressive development. Originally conceived as a perfunctory activity, it has now transformed into a competitive, large revenue, multimedia consumer industry for entertainment and leisure. And I agree. I mean, we saw that over the weekend in Nigeria with the Hilda Cookathon event. Food lovers actively look for new and unusual gastronomic experience, ready to spend top money on dishes that delight their senses. So I definitely do agree with that, because I noticed recently on Instagram that so I London is one of my favorite places in the world. I spent 5 days before I came back to Nigeria after my masters, and one thing I really did not do that I would love to try again in future, hopefully soon, if I get my admission to Culinary University of London, God please. But it's the food, man. Like, so I just keep seeing, so any food blog or post that just crossed my timeline is save, save, save. So I just keep saving. And then it just gives you an insight as to how the world has eventually evolved. Professions are evolving, services are evolving, industries are evolving, especially now with tech. I mean, it's easy for you to just see a chef or a baker or someone in the food service industry or a food blogger or a food tourist, you're having food gasms, a lot of food porn around you, and you're like, oh my god, I should eat that. Oh my god, I should try this. Oh my god, I should do this. But I'm not going to focus so much on Hilda and my conversation, but I just want to share some insights on how those in the food service industry, like the chef, the bakers, the bloggers, the other stakeholders like the food manufacturing industries, food and beverage brands, the research and development facilities and institutes or departments, fast-moving consumer goods companies, Department of Agriculture, hospitality, food startups. This episode is dedicated to you and also in celebration of my birthday. Oh, also in celebration of my birthday. Yeah. But basically, for starters, what I would suggest for people in the food industry is, one, define your goals as to what exactly you want to achieve. Do you want to focus on the multimedia consumer industry? Are you focusing on the entertainment aspect, the leisure aspect, the tourism aspect, the hospitality aspect, the foreign direct investment aspect? Yeah, the policy aspect, sustainability aspect. What exactly is your goal for delving into this industry? As a legal practitioner and also as a creative entrepreneur, first as a legal practitioner, I enjoy having conversation with creatives. I mean, it's not easy for someone to sit down and think of something, even for mothers, or let me not refer to the female gender before people come and bash me and say I'm being a feminist, because you guys always misconstrue that conversation. But if you cook, basically male, female, whatever gender you are, if you cook, are you doing it because you just want to feed the family? Is it like your main occupation? There's this guy that does chocolates, that bakes. He has a show on Instagram. Let me see if I can dig him up. It starts from I think it's AM Amori something. I think he's based in Dubai. I mean, the first time I came across that guy's post, I was like, people get talent though, because what is this, Rita? What exactly are you doing? Then, so I don't know if I should say this, but then, so I started dating 2 years ago, and my I shouldn't, but anyway, I save recipes just so I can not, I won't say impress, but I just want, when my boyfriend or my partner tastes my food, he's like, having food gasm, you get, and your head is just swelling and it's like, oh, maybe your food tastes nice. Or maybe you try to try a new recipe, or you introduce a new food or cuisine to your family or your friends. You're like, okay, so I have this thing and I want you guys to, I just need your feedback. And everyone's like, oh my god, it tastes so good. I don't like people that, I mean, you have the food critics who make money off not making people feel bad, but also trying to make sure that you are in line with their standard, the food industry standards. Especially, I mean, if you watch all of these cooking shows, when you're like, oh, this is I mean, the flavors are not given, it's not hitting, it's all jumbled up, and then something here, oh my god, it's how you perfected the act of, the flavors, sweet, sour, all of those conversations. I mean, so my sister, like I said, my sister bakes, and there's this show that they show on DSTV. That's her favorite show, anyways. I think it's Sabrina, and then some other cooking shows. I used to have I think I'm sharing a lot of personal things today, and I don't like it. Maybe it's the birthday fever, but I really do not know. But what I'm saying is, for those that cook either for the profit making aspect or entertainment aspect or whatever it is, because now the industry is booming, the food service industry is booming. You're a chef, you're a sous chef, you distribute food products, you are a farmer, you till the soil and make sure that this ingredient comes out right, with the right flavor, geographical origination, you know, all of those things. And you now have to start thinking of making money. This is no longer in the what will I say now? In the early days where the agricultural sector was just focused on what's that exchange, economic exchange, trade by barter. I have yam, you have granules, give me. Then we evolved into exporting. Um, agricultural products. So the main thing is we have to thank God first for that. Then thank God for giving you the gift of creating menus or foods or smoothies or desserts, whatever it is you're actually creating. Then know that. So when I was reading, I was like, the food service industry is has transformed into a competitive, large revenue, multimedia consumer industry. You are your competition, first of all. You shouldn't be looking at, oh, what is KFC doing? What is this chef in South Korea doing? Besides, I love the display of the South Korean cuisine in their movies and series. And I'm like, I need to taste this. I need to taste. I think there's a lady on Instagram that I follow. She recently traveled to Japan, and all the menus that she showed, I was like, I can try that. But as a Nigerian, I haven't tried all menus and all cuisine. I'm open to that. So whoever that's looking for someone to do food tasting, please. I indicated interest first. Enjoy. I indicated interest first. So you guys should please consider me for all of this. I love food too. I love food. And maybe that's partly because of my mom. My mom is from Benue, and Benue is like the food basket. Wait, so somebody corrected me about this last time. But Benue had a lot of food. Let me stick to the safe side, or let me just confirm why I'm sticking to being safe. Benue has a lot of foods, and my mom is someone, she doesn't believe in leaving the house without eating. If my mom is not going to work, let's say today, she wakes up earlier, sometimes 3, 4. At least I know between 6 and 9, breakfast is ready. You get. I'm not a spoiled brat, no. But foods, if it's food, I can eat. I love to eat food, and I'm open to trying things. So when I try something and I do not like it, I just kind of, So I know I've tried ogbono. I don't like ogbono. I don't have anything against ogbono, but I really do not like it. I never used to like amala and ewedu until my boyfriend made me try it, and it's not like I can't live without it now. But I can't. I know that if I'm hungry, I can order or go get. Yeah, Benue is food basket of the nation. Yay! And we won. Happy friend 0 today. Okay. So moving on. Also think outside the box and push yourself. So when food tray started trending in Nigeria, and I kind of feel like everyone is doing the same. So if you can arrange your food tray, or it's like when you see those abacha. I think there's this lady one time that went viral because of the way she arranged that abacha. I love abacha, by the way. It was really creative. So just think of something that you do that. So because now you're in the digital era where for you to get customers or consumers to key into your content or your business, you need to grab them in the first few seconds. So looking at your page, how you're cooking, what you're actually using to cook, the spices. So someone posted a video on Twitter. I think Twitter started allowing videos now on their platform, and the lady was boiled. I think it was goat meat. Was it goat meat? I'm not sure now. But that was last week. But what caught my attention in the post, because I like I said, I like to watch food videos to either learn something and see how I can improve on my cooking. Apologies to everyone I told I don't know how to cook. I know how to cook. It's just that I'm at a stage in my life where cooking is either a bit too stressful for me or time consuming. So I must really make out time. If I cook, I must really make out that time to actually cook. Or maybe if I'm at home and my mom makes a request, I do that for her. Or I just feel like cooking something for the house. Like I'm hungry and I feel like I really need to eat this, but I think I'm rambling too much. So back to the conversation about that video. So someone said, she doesn't really know how to cook because how can you put, she's like, it's basic, you don't put water when you're boiling meat, you wait for the meat to cook a bit and let the spices or the whatever come out and marinate before you add water. And I was like, allow the person cook you food the way you like now, even though they do it for content, but you know, so you get that conversations where you're not, trying to balance what you do. So push yourself, smash your record, think outside the box, and take your branding seriously. Take branding seriously. Don't let anybody mislead you, especially in this 21st century. I was talking about non-traditional treatment. Non-traditional treatment are not your usual treatment. So you'll be considering things like sound, smell, color. But for the culinary industry, let's discuss color, smell. I would have said taste, but it's a bit difficult because for trademark, you have to show that the mark in question is capable. So that's under Nigerian law now. Please, this is not international standard. This is Nigeria under Nigerian Act. The mark must be capable of distinguishing and also distinctive in nature. It must not be descriptive. It must not be a name of a chemical. It must not be similar or identical to another person existing trademark. So all of those things need to be considered um, as someone that works in the food service industry. Whatever it is you're doing, your channel name, your blogging name, your food tourism name, whatever it is you're doing. So you need to also then do like a corporate registration, pay your tax, file your annual return, comply with the relevant laws. So for Nigeria, I talked about NAFDAC, especially if you're in the food manufacturing or producing, processing sector, or within the FMCG. You'll be dealing with a lot of standards, compliance to quality, etc., etc. So just make sure that you have a conversation with your lawyer, just so you know which sectors or industries you should be having discussions with. Then the next one, which I would advise those within the food sector or food service industry sector, oh gosh, to consider would be trade secret, which protects the confidential information, like your customers list, where you buy your food products, your equipment, where you get your equipment from, where you get your spices from, how you produce your work, your food, the arrangement, all of those things. But then one of the beauty about this type of intellectual property mechanism is that it's the effort that you put into protecting that confidential information that gives you the leverage or the edge within the food sector, food service industry. And you must do this by signing contracts, contracts that define your relationship and include either a non-disclosure clause or a non-compete clause, or you have a separate non-disclosure agreement or non-compete agreement. But I'm aware that in the US, somewhere in one of the jurisdiction or the county, they are agitating that non-compete clauses should be taken off because it kind of restricts creativity. I would say to an extent, but then you not live in a situation. So I first heard about this Bobo juice story from Shukurat and Musa. You guys should check her out as well. Bobo juice was bettered from Viju milk, but then the target audience are defined. Viju milk, adults; Bobo juice, children. And when you create things for kids, you sell out. For instance, Daddy Shark do 1 billion streams, just like that. You do a children book story. So imagine you creating children foods, all the likes of. See how much be cereal now? How much? Was it the milk? Oh, leave them. So you see, there is money to be made. You can't just sit down and think, oh, it's not just for chefs. That's why I keep referring to chefs, because this post was inspired by Hilda, but now I've progressed into talking about the culinary industry itself, the food service industry, the food industry itself. So if you have relationship in this industry, take it serious, whether you're a farmer or you're a distributor or whatever it is. We can't do without food. Food na life. You just like water na life. Even though the person we cannot live without is God, food na life, water na life. You dey whine me? She there was a post that they said Bill Gates processed his own meat. How he take come up with nobody know, but they say be like they say sweet. I can't verify that. I've gone to court to verify, but the court is currently busy with a lot of election petitions and some other court cases in Nigeria. So I know why to go and do cross-border disputes. Okay, I think I'm messing around right now. Okay, let's focus. So this contract will protect you from any kind of misappropriation. It also protects that confidential information for you. Then the next one that will be a bit technical will be patent, because patent basically provides technical solutions to issues in the society. So, for instance, if you own or have like a research and development department within the food industry, obtaining a patent will help you. Now, what I was discussing for copyrights, you enjoy protection between 50 to 70 years, depending on the kind of work. So, for your lifetime plus after, and all the contributors to that work. So now the law expressly says if you take a photograph, you are the photographer. You're known as the first author. So all those things will be defined. Then trademark, 7 years subject to renewal, but trademark can last for a lifetime if you consistently commercially use it. So CC, consistent, commercial, in use. And if you look at the definition of intellectual property that WIPO define, it says commercially in use. I think that's how it's put. But I know that there's commercial and then there's in use. So you must make money of it, you must exploit it, you must monetize it, you must commercialize it. Make ego. Patent is for a term of 20 years. But in order for you to get a patent, you must meet that basic requirement that grants you exclusive rights to import, make, sell, and all those things. Novelty, inventive, not obvious to a skilled person. If it doesn't meet that requirement, it's going to be an issue. So things like cooking techniques, equipment, recipes, food processing strategies, softwares, people that own foods softwares. Now, I mean, everybody now is selling food online, or most businesses have their online platform, order food, come, all those kinds. And those news agreements where there's a dispute. What is the refund policy? When customer is upset that the food is not suitable, what are you going to do? I saw one time, I think, yeah. So why I remember this is because I was going into SS2 then, and my dad was hell bent on me becoming a medical doctor. My dad is a doctor. And I didn't like science. I wasn't doing so well in science, but art was like big for me. And before we got to school, I went to Lady of Fatima Bakery. So if you went to Lady of Fatima and you're listening to this, shout out to you, man. You're the real OG. You're the real Odogu. I'll sing for you, but I don't want anybody take down my content. But I will still sing. If you ask for it, I'll do that for you guys. Anything for Lady of Fatima girls. But anyways, so we went to eat at one of these, I can't remember the restaurant, but it was popular then. And chicken they gave me was bad. And I couldn't eat. So I ate rice with that chicken because my chicken was bad. So in an instance where someone books any food, so I want a cake, the cake gets to you and it's battered because delivery guy was entering potholes in Nigeria. All those things. How are you guys going to resolve that kind of dispute? Or the food spilled and there's oil everywhere, or the pack you bought, the plantain chips you bought, the thing busted, or there's air inside, the spice is not, I won't say fermented, trying to look for the right word, but it's not spicing enough, should get. And all of those things need to be considered. Then you have geographical indication, which I alluded to earlier when I was talking about original and quality geographical foods. So basically, its job is to prevent third parties who do not adhere to these geographical requirements from abusing it, from unauthorized association, whereby they are saying, oh, this product was made, this is real basmati rice, or this is curry from India, or yellow pepper from Nsuka blended. You carry Cameroon pepper, give you call Nsuka yellow pepper. Alright, it's your fault. How I was going to refer to Gary, but I think everyone does Gary the same. But how these traditional women make certain food that they don't tell you the spices? They're cooking it in front of you, but they just boom, 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 boom. And before you know, you're like, madam, what did you put? Like, oh, I put this one, and they call it. They no go agree tell you the main thing. Person when no say na business they do, no go tell you say I put this. But then, I think with video content creators now, vloggers, you see that they're listing their spices. So I used this, I used Iru, I used local this, I used that, I used that. So you now have to go to the market and start looking for all of that. So what my own sister does is she has a blend of her own special mix. She also has her own pepper mix, which I love, because I don't eat pepper. Seriously, fam, I do not like pepper, but I love her own pepper. It's mild enough for me, you know. So geographical indication is one that protects the authenticity, originality, and quality of an agricultural product or wines that emanate from a particular jurisdiction. So you're using white wine to cook. What kind of white wine is that? What jurisdiction? You're using Ross-check cheese. It's coming from a territory. Right? All those things. Or when people go to Paris or they go to Switzerland, because of the chocolate, because of the breads or the pasta, all of those things. So I think it's Ify Kitchen that had the, I don't want to say had the opportunity, but she traveled to Italy to learn how to cook, sort of like improve capacity building, and she entered a store that had pasta. Babe, I saw pasta, babe. Okay. Kind of felt like I was talking to my fellow girlfriend, but yeah, guy, you sure understand what I'm trying to say, right? Yes. But what I'm saying is that there was pasta from A to Z. Like, it shocked me. I only know Dangote spaghetti. Yeah. I've heard of spaghetti bolognese. Oh, make I know more than nothing about bolognese on the corner. I don't know, but you know, all those kind of things. Yeah. Then industrial design for Nigeria, and then utility pattern for the US. So industrial design protects the visual appearances of a product which has a combination of lines, colors, or both. So the visual appearance of the packaging of the food, the shape of the product, you know, all those things. That's where industrial design comes in. Even the shape of the equipment you use to cook. As in, let's say they buy things. So why I'm referring to myself, because it's not, so you know, your moms or your parents will buy basic kitchen utensils and equipment. But when someone is into cooking full time, you're seeing different shapes and kinds of things, and you're like, So today I was telling her, come, when are they married? When are they married? I just see, come and start buying my kitchen items for me. She's like, when you get the money, I was like, no wahala. But that's where industrial design comes into play. Peter will focus on the functionality of how that equipment works, how that product works, how that plantain chips was made and preserved, all of those things, the preservative that was used, all those things. Then I think most people don't even consider this type of IP I'm going to mention, because the top three will be copyright, trademark, so for copyright, trademark, industrial design, and maybe trade secret and geographical indication when they are considering or two. But you find out that, like I said, IP has its tentacles and everything, and each of these IP mechanism can give you a level of protection, coupled with the fact that they all have their term of duration for protection. So industrial design is for 5 years, subject to renewal for two further consecutive 5 years in Nigeria. Then you now have plant variety for preservation of distinctive plants. So you're, as a farmer, someone in the agricultural sector or the food business, you're experimenting with genes of plants, of seeds, all those things. That is where I'm looking at it. So there was this case that Dr. York told us about. I never forget that case, but I keep forgetting the name of the case. I think it's the red bean case or the green bean case, where they went to, I think it's red bean, went to the a neighboring country, I think it was Mexico or one of these Latin country, and then they imported it into America, did the experiments, created their own version, and you know, quanta boss, so then come they fight because of beans. Money drop. Then there's a patent case that involves one of these African countries. I think it's Ethiopia. Is it the wheat or something? Where you think it was a Danish company or a German company patented that particular wheat use or grain used to make bread within that jurisdiction. You've also had instances like the Rooibos tea. I've used Rooibos or Rooibos tea from South Africa. All those things. What does that tell you? People are seeing the commercial value in all of these agricultural products that we are ignoring. So we can't step up. We can't stay in the big boys league. We can't. It's not business and usual. Should get. So you see now that I've taken you through all the IPs and like, you're like, maybe you're here like, Anri has come again. I've not come again, no. Then you now have exclusive rights for, where you can explore like translating your cookbook or audiobook or videos into languages. I don't know how to speak my language. If not, maybe I for just drop one or two lines, but the ones where they hear, I can speak my mom's dialect very well. Ikre, just greeting wa sabi you. I don't know where I go marry from, but make the man know, if in case they listen to me, say e go hard small for me to learn your language. I'll talk of translating a cookbook or a recipe. So then I thought about the traditional knowledge aspect where families transfer recipe books to the next generation. So it's a blend or mix of trade secrets and traditional knowledge, cultural preservation, and all of those things when you think about food in the family business, where a family runs a restaurant or a food chain, all of those things. Now, where that one they come for me. So I hope that with few point of mine, I have been able to convince and not convince you. So I talked about trade secret, trade name, and all those things, trade dresses. So trade dress also kind of acts like industrial design, where it protects the packaging of the food you use. Then you also have instances where you create franchises, you own a service mark because you work in the food service industry, you own a food reality TV show, you're seeing media companies having cooking shows. That had a cooking show as well. I said I wasn't going to mention her so much, but because this post was like this content or this episode inspired by her, I mean, it's not easy. Set the gadgets, bang, 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 lights everywhere. Corn, they cook, they mix, they do this, they do that. Come they stand again, sit down sometimes, all those small Haitians. But sorry guys, I think I'm playing it up. But next on my conversation would be, how are these IPs relevant to chefs or bakers or those in the food industry? Because money has to be made. So how are these IP relevant? Because chefs basically deal and interact with the food industry. There's a lot of selection required for one to stand out. For instance, what makes your food or the way or method you make your food different from the next person? Why should I, Rita, reaching that in this digital era, pay attention to your food documentary via your blogging, your vlogging, your photography, storytelling, which now helps transform what you own from intangible into an exclusive intellectual property right, where you're not thinking of branding and also considering the commercial value that you have. So my next question is going to be for my listeners is, what can you do to prevent other people from copying your culinary creation for economic purpose, or even to go and break Guinness World Record? What can you actually do? Be proactive, monitor, be inventive, engage a lot. People may not like us in Nigeria, but see, you need us die. And besides, just to state this, law is not just about litigation, going to court. No. There's a transactional and commercial aspect to it. Lawyers can basically work anywhere. That is why they call us learned. But no vex, don't be vexed. But it's just the reality. So that's my question for you guys. So if you have an answer to that, send me an email to ipseriesinfo@gmail.com or tag me under this post when you see this. So you say you're listening, just go back to the post and give me your answer. It will mean a lot to me if you guys interact with me. I mean, this is 100. It's not easy. You that cook for 100 hours. This is my 100th episode. So celebrate me too. I'm celebrating grace and tap into Hilda's grace. Yeah. So stakeholders in the food industry will include chefs, bakers, bloggers, media, restaurant, research and development departments, food and beverage brands, spices associated to jurisdiction, what is that unique spice that your community has, and when you put it in food, it's like they bang die. And then you have the consumer companies in the likes of fast moving consumer goods, Department of Agriculture, hospitality, food startups, money, food startups. See, you guys are the guys trending now. You need to be very innovative. Like, if you want to hack this food tech thing, leave am. Once you do one like this, you go don turn the next $80 for Naija. Come to my ministry, let me pray for you. Yeah. So another thing that I'd like us to discuss or touch before I wrap up is the types of intellectual property dispute that can be found within the food industry. So as an ADR practitioner, as a dispute resolution practitioner, as also as a lawyer, what are the dispute that I think most brands encounter? One, name dispute. So it could be in form of an infringement of name, or someone opposing your trademark registration at the trademark registry, restraining or name of the show, or the menu item for well-known menu items, reconciling food science innovations and product labeling standard disputes, distribution, misappropriation of confidential information, breach of licensing requirements. So you license. So if it's going to, so let's look at licensing from the corporate aspect under the new Nigerian corporate. So licensing could be exclusive, where it's just you and party A. So food service provider 1, food service provider 2, or food service provider 1, food service provider 2, food service provider 3. So that is a non-exclusive arrangement. Now you breach your licensing requirement, you breach your non-disclosure agreement, you breach your collaboration agreement, you breach your sponsorship agreement. Wetin dey worry you? Why can't you be a gentleman or a gentle lady and obey and comply and not be stressing up? But stress also, we need the money as ADR practitioners. They are going to court to sue the person, or you're exploring out of court settlements such as mediation or arbitration or negotiation or conciliation, or even doing online dispute resolution. I don't need to come and meet you in America. I can be in Nigeria. You be in your country. You get it. Franchise disputes. You got a franchising deal. Stick to the franchising requirements or what was provided as your terms of reference. You don't want to do it. What is wrong with you? What is seriously wrong with you, man? Ripping off of culinary ideas. Just say when you're talking or dealing with food bloggers or food tourists or food, will I say food critics, because they fall in that category. Like, okay, I don't want to be original in my review. Let me just cut, merge it. Now me drop one. That kind of thing. Or, so now that Hilda broke the record, maybe someone was there watching, maybe one, let me not use any of her staffs, but let's say there's like a food blogger there, and the person now wants to make a publication and he goes ahead to post all of Hilda's recipes. So because you find out sometimes that, so there's some food videos I see online, and I'm looking out for menu and I didn't see menu in the post. I'm like, okay, this person don't want to share this thing because it is very confidential. Then you see the ones that okay, they go to Hilda's page. Hilda posted her to make, what was that? I think I saved the post about the list of food that she made. Make her check. I don't know where it is. It's when you need something that you be looking for, you be searching. So if it's not okay, found it. Okay, let's see now. Party jollof. There's technique to making party jollof. So you want to make Hilda Baci's party jollof. So you go, because you want to. So while I was talking about copyright, I remember now. So when I talked about image, there's also the image right aspect to you using Hilda's photograph. So you have what is called the fair dealing in Nigeria, fair dealing people, where you're not commercializing Hilda's image. But when you post Hilda, say, cook like Hilda, or we are cooking something like Hilda. Do you think that falls under fair dealing? Is that person thinking of making money off it? Is that person misrepresenting or misleading the general public to think that Linda is affiliated to that brand? That is how image right works, or like the US call it right of publicity. So we do not have an express law on image right, but there are certain cases that the court have considered, like the case of RMD and Jumia, the case of Atiku and I think it's Mrs. Adeleke. But then the one that I thought the court would have, used to set precedent for image right was the Banire case. You guys check it. I think I always refer to when I'm talking about image right, because it paid me somehow, because I was like, and I'll do this again. Like, that person could just use my pension. So somebody uses Hilda's pension and does the billboard. So let's say one of Linda's sponsor, maybe it wasn't part of the sponsorship agreement, that they will put her billboards in 36 states of Nigeria and sub-license it to another brand within the industry, so they can use all those kind of things. So this is why for contracts, when I think I'll talk about it back in my recommendation, but why I mentioned it is because it just came to my while I was having this conversation when I'm talking about disputes now for bloggers. So let's say someone now posts Hilda Baci's party jollof rice recipe. I don't know if you see all these foreign newsletters or blogs, online blogs or publications where they post someone's recipe. You now have to ask yourself, did they get the consent of the person to repost their recipe? People will think it's minute. It's not minute. It's ordinary minute. It's not. IP na money, and the game is to make money. So you do all of those things. You plagiarize another person's post. So somebody posted, let's say someone posted buka stew or coconut rice or seafood okra soup recipe. Then you go word for word, bang bang, copy paste, post. Or then you have people that use trigger words. So there's a part of trademark that haven't started manifesting in Nigeria, but I'm seeing droplets everywhere. Use of ad words and tag words, all those things. It's a form of trademark infringement in the digital era, where the main purpose is to mislead the general public into thinking that you're going to the right site or you're dealing with the right person, something like that. So let's say someone does. So there's also the issue of domain name as well. Take it, if you're a food blogger, you work in the food service industry, take domain name serious. So person, if you just use your brand name now, which name will I go use? I was going to mention my sister, but I don't want these trolls to be fast. But anyways, because you did not create a domain name for yourself, someone now creates a domain name using your brand's name. Now the purpose of that is to mislead the person. So the person clicks on that link, AdWords, yes, the person clicks on that link, but it doesn't take the person to your own site, it takes the person to their own site. So there's this case, it's not within the food sector. It was between I think it's M&S and M&S Flora or something. It was one of the cases that we reviewed while I was doing my master's in the University of Derby. Yeah, University of Derby. Debbie, people call it Debbie, but it's Derby. University of Derby, 2013-2014. So when we're talking about trademark dispute in the digital era, this is one of the cases where someone had ordered the flour from M&S, but the link the person clicked on wasn't M&S true link. So when you go to Google, you see sponsored or you see AD. So it used to be in yellow, but I think now it's now blank. I think it's in black. Once you see AD beside a link, that's not the original link. Edjo, don't click on it. Just go to the next one that doesn't have anything beside it and take it to the real site. Same thing with impersonation on Instagram. People are creating fake accounts just to mislead people into. I know. What is wrong with you people, Seth? Every small thing people want to scam somebody. So when that happens to you, talk to the Federal Consumer Protection Agency. That's their field. This person cheats me or you misled me. Go talk to them. They'll sort you guys out. But now you understand the kind of dispute that one would encounter. Distribution deals. Oh, I ordered for 200 pieces of this and I got shot by 20, or it wasn't in the standard, the packaging is not the standard I ordered or I chose, different things. So disputes are bound to emerge. So there's one dispute that I want to talk about that people don't really take serious. So when I was talking about trademark, I talked about non-traditional trademark like sound, smell, color, yeah, position as well, yeah, yeah. So there's this TikTokers I follow where they kind of imitate the way the Kardashians talking. They're like, yeah, yeah, that kind of thing. So anyway, this case trended last year, and it was a trademark dispute case where a fizzy drink can opening, or a fizzy drink company called Agda applied to trademark the sound of a fizzy drink can opening, and then it was rejected at the European Intellectual Property Office. So he submitted an audio format to show what makes the trademark, the sound mark, distinctive, and the registry rejected it, saying that it lacked commercial originality and that it wasn't distinctive enough. So they appealed it, and they lost as well. So they went further to appeal to the General Court, who dismissed their action by agreeing with the European EU IPU. Don't stress me. I never see drink my water. But so you see that all these kind of things. I mean, so when you're accusing someone within the food sector industry about something, make sure that it's the person actually do it, because you might be sued, counter-sued for defamation or malicious thought, all of those things. Have a lawyer on your retainer, basically. Anyways, that's what I'm going to say to conclude on that. But my recommendation. What am I going to recommend for my food service industry people now? Number one, build the right kind of your intellectual property portfolio. Have a good IP portfolio management, which helps you to exploit the bundle of creative and innovative food assets that you have. Then conduct audits for your company, for your intangible assets. Assess and evaluate the worth of your food assets, your intellectual property rights, either your patent, your copyright, your trademark, your design right, your trade secret. Then review your business policy as a food blogger, as a food tourist, as a food show owner, or as a media house that has a channel that showcases everything food. You are a just review your business policy. Create monetization channel, especially in this digital era. Take advantage, embrace technology. Oh, people of God, embrace technology. You can opt to collaborate with people, get a franchise deal, build a licensing structure or model, assign certain elements of your food business, regularly monitor the market, what's trending in the market, what kind of. So for food bloggers and vloggers, or you find out that there's this particular cuisine or menu that is trending, give it your African bias, not jollof war. I think I'm tired of jollof war. We already know Nigerian jollof is sweet, Ghana jollof is sweet, Senegalese jollof is sweet, but the one that is not sweet, I was going to say it's like it's the Oyibo people, but I will not mention it. But yeah, everybody's jollof is sweet. So far as I me cook my own jollof, it's sweet in time. I don't care what you say, man. So make preserve traditional cuisine and method of processing and making food related products. Sign contracts that protect your contribution to the food industry in whichever format. Remember that all authors and contributors are entitled to intellectual property rights, exclusive intellectual property rights that they can exploit, monetize, and commercialize it. I talked about signing a contract, yeah. Have internal dispute resolution mechanism to resolve and protect your brand. I talked about assigning certain intellectual property rights, such as your trademark for special food dishes created So you can opt to trademark it, conduct a thorough market research, comply with territorial requirements for processing and preserving food, conduct IP searches. Most of you don't even, and you're not even thinking of intellectual property registration. Why? So in Nigeria, we apply the first to file principle. If I go and file Chef Hilda or Hilda Cocoa Town or Hilda's logo or anything, if you're in that food sector, if I go and file it before you, the law recognizes me as the author. So each of these laws, copyright, trademark, patent, industrial design, have their provisions on how they identify who the author is. I think the phrase that the Patent and Design Act uses, and why I recall it is because I was working on my post for tomorrow, is it says statutory true creator. Copyright is author. I think trademark uses they come they go. But I sabi book now. What's going on? Proprietor. Yeah, finally got it. So do all of those things. Get legal. Don't burn. We don't want to see bonbon food something. Don't burn it. I think I saw this. Was it a picture or what? Someone bought the pizza from shawarma. Sorry, what am I saying? Someone bought pizza from Ibadan. They're like, look at it. Ibadan pizza. It was delivered in nylon. The thing did not come out well. All those kind of things. Don't burn your food business. Don't burn it. Get legal. Legal will help you make sure that the ingredients, the spices, everything that you put in the food, the IP food, is coming out sweet. They'll be looking for more. So the people were commending Hilda, like all the food she cooked that 4 days. How many food days she cooked in? I think 100 and something. All the foods that she made, the menu, everything back to back, it was a hit. Just a drop on like it's hot. Then develop an IP strategy for your food brand. We also need to Nigeria. Now, for Nigeria, I hope the federal government develops a food sustainability policy. Those in the food service industry need to adopt a code of conduct for chefs, bloggers, bakers, manufacturers, all the stakeholders I initially listed. Code of conduct. People have, and I'm not aware. I am sorry, I did not know. If you have it, send me a copy again. My email is ipseriesInfo@gmail.com. If you follow me or any social media, just do IPSeries, you will see my name. It's me. Hi. Okay. Well, that's about it for my recommendation. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys as usual. But finally, what I'm going to say with regards to intellectual property is this: when you're dealing with intellectual property is actually very flexible. It's flexible enough to the point where it accommodates those in the food service industry, especially when you meet the basic requirements for each of the IP mechanisms. So stay cooking, guys. Avoid any form of direct copying, unauthorized use, infringement, anything that will put your name in a very bad way. Avoid it. Now we have the likes of metaverse and NFT. Brands now, you have to be thinking, especially if you're in a fast-paced jurisdiction where technology na in the rain, not techno phone, not techno musician. No. So monitor, be proactive, invest, embrace tech, consider virtual IP rights, try to prevent fake food representation in the virtual space, infringement in the virtual space. We already have the meta-backing case, which is like the first NFT case ever. You might even want to consider blockchain tech for documentation purpose, transparency purpose, all of those things. So with this viewpoint of mine, guys, I really hope I have been able to impress you, convince you, advocated. I wanted to say taught to I teach you because I'm a lecturer now, but I think I just add, if I teach you something, you learn something new. Hey Joe, thank me. Your voice note, I don't mind. Instagram post, Twitter post, I don't mind, man. Well, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for listening to me talk about IP in foods, intellectual property right in the food service industry. I hope you learned a thing or two because it was really insightful what I was doing. Because I was just thinking, how am I going to convert this into podcast? I don't want it to be the same, like the carousel I did. Oh right, I just remembered. So I had like a culinary issue checklist or a culinary checklist that those in the food industry should mention. So the first one is expression or expressing traditional cuisine. How do you make a traditional cuisine without offending the people that say, she no cook and where? Why is she misleading this? What kind of method is this? I for copyright protects how you express your work. So just see it as your own way of expressing the traditional cuisine, but you can do it with the guidance of the community or the people. Then don't let your recipe not become too generic or common, but everybody know, to make this normal now. Then use of technology to create unique food. Now we are 3D printing food and beef and all those things. A long way to go. Using tech if you're a farmer or you work within the agricultural industry or you are a researcher. Then exploring non-conventional trademarks such as smell, taste, and position. I think I mentioned that. Not meeting the non-obvious or inventive tests and the difficulty of proving novelty, especially when you want to patent like a food-related product. Then strength of confidential information and abuse of traditional knowledge. My tips for chefs regarding intellectual property would be: number one, the tips for chefs. Number one, you can safeguard your recipe by keeping them private. You can choose. So while I was reading, I read something where they said that for this family business, so they mix their recipe and just wrap it up and put it in the fridge. Be freezer now. Then when the employees come, they just take it out, mix it, and they carry on. Kind of reminds me of how people have been trying to replicate Coca-Cola. Like people are trying so hard. We have the Biggie Coca-Cola case in Nigeria. Don't know what's going on with that one. No update yet. I'm trying to remember one other one like that, but it keeps coming and going. But basically, if that information is going to shake everywhere, like shaky, but keep them private too. Then try not to steal another person's recipe, and if you do so, acknowledge the person. Say, I was inspired by Hilda Baci's recipe, I'm tweaking it mine, or blah 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 blah. Then always document your relationship by signing relevant contract. I think I mentioned that while I was talking. For more advice, you think about speaking with a lawyer or a law firm that specializes in intellectual property or interacts with the food service industry. And finally, promote your food and brand by using original content such as images, description. Don't go and copy this person snap this picture. Instead of going to create your own picture, you lift it, watermark it, and pull it as your own. That's what we see bloggers doing now. You go collect person picture, come watermark the whole thing like it's you that created it, but that story for another day. But yeah, I think that's my tip for chefs for today. You guys stay cooking. If you cook for money making, I'm rooting for you, because cooking, it's not buying, it's not my So thank you once again, guys, for listening to me. Super excited. It's not easy. 18th, that's tomorrow, is going to make my podcast 3 years. Been doing this since the pandemic, so I'm excited that I hit my first 100 episode in 3 years. I also noticed that, anyways, I have in within the last 6 weeks, my listeners on the streams I got tripled, which was really exciting because I was at 4,000 something for a while, and now I'm at 6,000 and counting. So let's push it to 10,000 or at least 500,000. Yeah, what God cannot do does not exist. But yeah, see you guys in the next 100 episodes. So 101 loading. Bye guys.